Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting for September 19, 2022. We'll start with the roll call. All members of council are present. Item 2, déclaration de reconnaissance des tâches territoriales et moments de réflexion. On va demander à tout le monde de se lever, s'il vous plaît, suivi par l'hymne national.
Déclaration de reconnaissance des terres territoriales. Nous reconnaissons que nous sommes sur des terres, des territoires non cédés des Anishinaabe et les terres traditionnelles des peuples Haudenosaunee, Huron, Wanda et Kanien'kehá:ka. Nous reconnaissons notre obligation commune de respecter, d'honorer et de préserver ces terres et les ressources naturelles qu'elles contiennent.
Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law, let us take a moment of personal reflection. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. We will continue. Item 4, additions, deletions, or amendments. Anything to add from members of council? Conseiller Brisson?
Yeah, just a discussion for having a community calendar.
Okay. Community calendar, that will be under item 18A. Councilor Associate?
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions about paving of Lux Drive.
So paving on Lux. Perfect. So I need item 5, motion to approve the agenda as amended. Move and a seconder, please. Moved by Conseiller Besson, seconded by Conseiller Larin. Tous en faveur? Opposé? Carried. Item 6, déclaration d'intérêt pécuniaire. Item 7, adoption of minutes. Regular minutes of September 6, 2022, special council minutes and report CS 09-2022 relating matters discussed in closed session regarding contracts for the recreational complex, September 8, 2022. Motion to approve the following minutes as presented. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councilor Saucier, seconded by Councilor Kanowski. Tous en faveur? Opposé? Carried. Item 8, il n'y a pas. Item 9, delegations, we have none. Item 10, consent items. Motion that all items listed under consent items be received as presented. A, request for the community grants from the Parks and Recreation Department 2022 budget. Item B, minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee of February 16th and May 24th, 2022. Item C, procès verbal du comité sur la diversité, l'équité et l'inclusion communautaire du 10 mai 2022, non approuvé. Et item D, liste des comptes pour le mois d'août 2022. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councilor Chernovsky, seconded by Conseiller Larin. Questions, comments? Hearing seeing none, on call for the vote. Tous en faveur? Anyone opposed? Carried. Merci beaucoup. Reports from department and council committees. Item A. Demande de retrait de l'application du contrôle des parties des lots PD 2022. PD 2022, voire au règlement numéro 16 pour le 1000-1008 rue Pologne en Brun. Questions, commentaires dans du conseil? Pretty standard stuff. Anything bad from the administration? No. We'll move on to the next item. Item B. Zoning bylaw amendment, report PD 51-2022. The council received report PD 51-2022 dated September 19, 2022 and approved a zoning bylaw amendment to change the zoning of the property from commercial parks zone CP to general commercial zone C. Need a move, or no, don't need a mover or seconder at this point, but do we have any questions from members of council? Pretty standard stuff. Anything to add from the administration? Okay, merci beaucoup. On va aller avec l'item C. Demande de modification au règlement de zonage, rapport PD 52-2022 pour le 29 rue Marcel en Brun. Que le conseil reçoive le rapport PD 52-2022 daté du 19 septembre 2022 et approuve la modification du règlement de zonage au règlement numéro 2018-94 pour la propriété en question pour modifier le zonage de zone résidentielle 1R1 à zone résidentielle 2R2 pour permettre la construction d'une habitation junior. Questions, commentaires dans du conseil? Quelque chose d'autre à ajouter de l'administration? Parfait. On va aller au prochain item. Item D, Zoning Bylaw Amendment Report PD 56-2022 for 180 St. Guillaume Road in Vars. The council received report PD 56-2022 dated September 19, 2022 and approved the zoning bylaw amendment to change the zone change category from general agricultural exception 23A2 23 to general agriculture exception 55A2 55 and agricultural industrial MA. This application is a condition of consent application UCPR B027-2022. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration?
Non, merci.
On va aller à la prochaine item, item E. Exemption d'un plan de condominium, rapport PD 67-2022. Que le conseil reçoive le rapport PD 67-2022 daté du 19 septembre 2022 et que le conseil approuve la demande d'exemption d'un plan de condominium fait par 203-104-82 Ontario Inc. pour les propriétés sus-mentionnées. Questions, commentaires dans du conseil? Anything to add from the administration? Good. We'll move on. Item F, Council Committee's Report CL09-2022. The Council received Report CL09-2022 dated September 19, 2022 for information purposes. Was there any questions? Conseiller Brisson.
Je voyais dans ce rapport-là qu'il y avait juste les comités obligatoires et pour faire la publicité, mais pas les autres comités. Est-ce que ça vient avec un autre bylaw, ceux-là? Est-ce qu'ils vont se faire en même temps, la publicité?
Non, pas dans ce cas-ci, parce que à une autre réunion, on avait donné la direction qu'on aimerait ça que tous les comités soient revus, pour faire certain que les termes de référence sont bien faits, puis faire certain qu'on a un bon retour sur les investissements avec les comités, si tu veux. C'est pour ça, ceux qui sont obligatoires, on n'a pas le choix, on allait d'avance. Mais on a demandé à l'administration d'étudier les comités pour voir si sont-ils aussi efficaces qu'ils pourraient être. Madame Camille Lafont, tu voulais-tu ajouter?
Yes, hello, Mr. Mayor and council members. So, oui, conseiller Brisson, la dernière paragraphe dans le rapport sous l'historique mentionne que la structure des autres comités du Conseil fera l'objet d'un examen plus approfondi ultérieurement en envisageant des options novatrices. Donc, oui, c'est ça la raison.
OK. Mais est-ce que ces comités-là vont être discutés avant l'élection pour être que ça soit commencé de bonne heure ou c'est juste avec le nouveau conseil?
Bonne question. Je ne sais pas du timeline. Je ne sais pas si c'est quelque chose que l'administration pourrait avoir. Monsieur Fonin?
Mr. Mayor and Council, we actually are looking at doing this for the next council, pour le prochain mandat, parce qu'on veut voir les comités comment est-ce qu'on construire et leur mandat, in terms of reference, pour voir si c'est nécessaire d'avoir le plateau de comités que nous avons maintenant, au lieu d'avoir quelques comités obligatoires, et peut-être quelques d'autres, et peut-être une autre façon d'avoir la vie de nos résidents vers les défis qui sont faits.
Parfait. Merci.
Juste un commentaire de dire, parce que je sais que je trouvais que c'était quand même une très bonne idée, parce que surtout même on avait remis pour le comité pour les jeunesses puis pour les personnes plus âgées. And I think it's really quite important, even if they don't come with a lot of resolution themselves, just the discussion coming from the public to get some idea with the staff and the councillor, I think is really important. And in my position, I think we better have too much committees than not enough for communication to be transparent.
Oui, je suis définitivement d'accord qu'on devrait avoir plus de citizen engagement, si tu veux. Malheureusement, mon opinion, les comités, c'est vraiment les 5 membres du comité qui jasent. There's no interaction with the greater public. So I'd like to see if there's opportunities there to try and engage more with the public as a whole. But, I mean, that's what the administration will look at and see what options are possible. Any other questions, comments, members of the council? Councillor Associate?
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Brisson's statement because especially, I think, people can come and they can listen in if they want to come to a meeting, so I think it's important to continue.
Thank you. S'il n'y a pas d'autres questions, commentaires? Non? On va continuer. Next item G, 2019-2022 Strategic Plan Administration Accountability Report CAO 11-2022. The Council received the report CAO 11-2022 dated September 19, 2022. This is a good report. Perhaps Mr. Fawnin, I'll give you the opportunity to speak to it because there was a lot of information during a hectic 4 years, if we can say that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. We decided to take this, for want of a better term, the report card of council in terms of reporting to residents. We took the strategic plan and we reanalyzed what had been accomplished or at least was ongoing throughout the 4 years, and we came up with, I think, it's a report that certainly shows that there was lots of work going on. It also showed to me and the administration that there's some gaps in terms of prioritization, and actually the way that we constructed the strategic plan for the last mandate, I think could benefit for some review, which we'll be doing in the next one. What this report shows is effectively going through the strategic plan that council approved. It shows how far you've come along as you come to the end of the mandate. So I think it's a good report for residents to take a look at. Obviously, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer the questions on specific points. You'll notice also in the report is not heavy on data analytics, something I've been looking at for the next mandate, to make sure that we can measure some of our objectives to determine both numerically and analytically whether we were successful or not.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of council? Hearing, seeing none. Thank you very much for the report. It was very enlightening. Sometimes when we do a strategic plan at the beginning, and especially after going through COVID, you kind of lose track. But it was nice to see everything that we were able to accomplish, and congratulations to the staff accomplishing many of those objectives during a very stressful time of COVID-19, being working from home and everything. So congratulations. With that, we'll go on to the next item. Item H, recommandation du comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité 2022-008, normes d'aménagement pour le canton. Que le Conseil reçoive la recommandation 2022-008 datée du 7 septembre du Comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité concernant l'adoption des normes d'aménagement accessibles par le canton de Russell en utilisant les normes d'aménagement accessible d'Ottawa comme modèle dans la mesure du possible. Questions, commentaires? Conseiller Tomaski?
So first of all, I completely support as high standards as possible. I just need clarification. What does it mean, and how do we measure where possible?
Good question. I'm not sure. This was coming from the committee, so je pense que c'est Monsieur.
It was just that saying where possible, because there's some that are quite costly. So if the demand is not really there, whether it's for comme pour visiter ou des choses comme ça à certains points, c'est pour ça que si tu veux, if we go up to the code for everything, there are some that are really costly and almost not visible for a smaller console. I would take just for the example of translation at even a regular console, that everything is translate, and even having somebody with the sign, and even knowing now that I heard that for sign you have some for French and some for English, so you see up to what you can have. So that's why it's saying where possible to make it.
So I think where possible, could within our means. Is from what I understand.
It could be changed for.
No, but
yeah.
I understand, but I think that's up to as the administration does their due diligence at budget time and looks at accessibility issues. They would obviously put that in the accessibility plan and in the budget. What's feasible and what's not. For example, perfect item is the what are they called, twisties, the textile at the end of the sidewalks that we installed this year. Thanks to a $250,000 grant, we were able to do that, but it's not something that was originally in our budget. So.
Just maybe one comment that maybe the communication with the council, just letting the people know what those are for, because we've seen in Facebook comment, the conseil, they spent money for nothing, just for putting some plate at the end, because they didn't knew that it was for.
So, just to be clear on that, there was actually social media posts by the municipality with links to the file that
was done.
That
just making sure, because I just saw those comments. I said we're doing our best for the people with visibility, so that the people are not all aware why those plates were put. But that's why I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Conseil Larraine and Councillor Tomasky.
Yeah, I think it's just important that we engage our accessibility committee in our projects. So when we do have certain projects that we budget for during that budget time period, we should be reaching out. I mean, especially for something like the rec complex, we should be asking for comment from the accessibility committee. I know. I'm just saying, making sure that we do, and that way, we have our minimum standards. And then we have, from what I'm hearing here, they're asking us to go above the minimum standards and what those are. And if council were to adopt something, and I don't think we're being asked to adopt something tonight, I think we're being asked to receive the recommendation. But if the next council then adopts more than the minimum standard, then that's when we need to have the cost breakout of, well, this is what minimum standard costs, this is what the recommended standard is, and then council needs to decide what they're going to do in between that. So that's what I think. But I think we need to engage our committees that way to then come back to us with recommendations, or go back to staff recommendations.
Yeah, definitely. I think Madame Tremblay, correct me if I'm wrong. We do provide the information on new projects to the accessibility committee when they have comments. They do specify those to us.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So every time we have a site plan application, the committee is circulated to get their comments. So we're being proactive in this regards for the site plan. I just want to mention as well that something to discuss and maybe have further discussion on is that we have zoning bylaw that do apply, and for example, barrier-free parking. So if we intend on imposing those regulations on the Township of Russell, maybe looking at revising the Township of Russell zoning bylaw so that we impose those minimum for private project as well. So this is something that we'll have to discuss further down.
When we get into the zoning bylaw
yeah,
review?
exactly. With the ODOA standards, so we'll have to consider if we're being more restricted on the township project. I think we should be imposing the same regulation on private projects.
Councillor Associate, or Councillor Kremansky? No, sorry, Councillor Associate and Councillor Basil.
Yeah, and also I think just there are still a lot of businesses that aren't accessible at all. So we've got a minimum standard, but there's some that just are still not accessible. You know, I can think of a couple of pharmacies and things like that. So maybe like that can be something where we can work on. See even existing buildings.
Well, I think that the issue is when a building is doing significant renovations, that kind of stuff, then the building code can come into play. But if they aren't changing anything, they're essentially grandfathered. And I don't believe the township has the ability to actually impose changes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Madame Tremblay, but...
No, you're correct, Mr. Mayor. So because they're existing unless they do major renovation. However, on the positive side, we have our CIP programs that do help for accessibility. So we give funds through the CIP program when they do major renovation. There's a program especially for accessibility. So this is something, a bonus for the businesses.
And that's what I was going to recommend exactly, was that maybe we need to make those businesses aware that CIP project exists, and especially the ones that aren't accessible at all.
Madame Tremblay, quelque chose à ajouter?
Yeah, we do a lot of promote that program. We promote as much as we could, as we can. We did a couple of years ago sent a pamphlet to all the businesses that were eligible for that program. Something to think further the line is maybe increasing the amount that is accessible under that program. Coming at budget time, this is something as well. We're working with the counties. They have a CIP money in their budget so that we could have funds from the county when businesses from the township apply for those grants. So this is something that will come up at budget.
Merci.
Conseiller Brisson.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but technically it's as long as they don't touch the front door, they're okay that they don't have to make it accessible for businesses. Almost.
Madame Tremblay.
Or if they do a change of use.
Ouais.
Yeah, they do. And one other thing I just wanted to mention that the accessible committee do receive all the site plan, as Mrs. Tremblay was saying, but also all the plan for the structure for park, because that's required by the law too, and that's we do receive. And I know that the committee did mention that they just are looking to suggesting to the committee, to the council, maybe having at least one accessible, maybe something like a swing or thing like that, but that's why they will be coming with the
More recommendations.
Yeah.
Parfait. D'autres questions, commentaires? À ce point-ci, c'est juste recevoir la recommandation. Alors, j'ai besoin d'un proposeur PNFUA, proposer conseiller Brisson, conseiller Demain. Oh no, we don't vote at this point. Move on to the next item. Reports from investigator of the department. 12, il n'y en a pas. Item 13, habilitation, il n'y en a pas. Item 14, période des questions sur la réunion du jour. Item 14, question period on the meeting today. If anyone has any questions or comments, I invite you to come up to the lectern and state your name and address for the record and ask your question.
Tony Bass, for number G, first time I'm doing this.
Yeah, sorry, just state your address for the record.
Oh, 760 Route 200.
Thank you.
I was wondering.
Excuse, Tony, sorry. C'était on peut-tu juste passer certains micros du télé?
Oh, okay.
You got it? Thanks.
I was wondering who did the independent report for the accountability?
So the accountability report, Mr. Fawnin?
Yes, that was me.
That was you? Okay. I was wondering why was an independent company not doing that? I just kind of wondering where they got the numbers from and stuff like that.
Mr. Fawnin?
So in reviewing the accountability objectives, we went through them by department, as we do in most organizations. So yes, it's an internal, it wasn't an audit. It was simply a review by the township administration of its own. if it was an independent audit, it would have been a completely different project. It wouldn't have been just a report to council in this fashion.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing here none, we will move on to the next item. Yeah, question, Councilor Panowski?
I just want a clarification, Mr. Farman. So, the financials that we looked at in that report over the last 4 years, I mean, they're audited financial statements anyway, right? So all the numbers there are technically audited, correct?
In terms of the larger budget, yes, I can let Mr. Godin respond to that, but what we were producing in the report was just to get a sense of whether projects were completed as per the strategic objectives set out, or were ongoing, or were not pursued at all. You want to speak to that?
In regards to strategic plan, that's what the report was in regards to strategic plan. What, in regards to Councilor Janowski's question, Mr. Dillon?
Merci, Monsieur Maire, bonsoir, Charles Français. So yes, to respond to your questions, our financial statements and our financial transactions are audited yearly, and the numbers that you do see in that report are pulled from those numbers.
Hello?
Just to confirm, and those are entirely public, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will move on to item 15, resolutions. Motion that council approve all recommendations listed on the agenda under item 11, reports from department and council committees. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Janowski, seconded by Conseiller Brisson. Call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 16, règlement. Motion que le Conseil approuve les règlements 2022-098 à 2022-101, inclusivement en première, deuxième et troisième lecture, tel qu'indiqué sur l'ordre du jour. Faisons le proposeur de appuyeur. Proposé conseiller Brisson, secondé conseiller Janowski. Call for the vote. Tous en faveur? L'opposition? None. Item 16 is carried. Item 6, new business reports, we have none. Item 18, other business presented by council members. Item 18A, Conseiller Brisson for a community calendar.
Yeah, it was just while I was discussing with Lisa that she just mentioned, oh, you don't have a community calendar. And I just realized that before COVID, there was RECAN that was taking care of having one. But right now, there is not something that is clear with the council. I don't think I haven't seen. Because I know like the October 29th, there's 3 activities at the same time, the same night, because the people didn't know where to check. So that's why I'm just suggesting if our communication coordinator can include this with our
I think we can give a direction to investigate it. I think questions arise is who then becomes responsible for the material that's actually published, and do we become the gatekeepers of what information goes in and goes out? But yes, there was a community calendar run by RECAN in conjunction with the township. Is that a possibility again? Possibly, Mr. Fon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. RECAN unfortunately doesn't provide that service any longer. We've been looking at this internally, and we've had a number of questions on it, but 2 challenges immediately present themselves. One is capacity. Currently, we don't feel that we have internal capacity to provide that as a service. The second, as the Mayor pointed out, we would effectively become the coordinators for dates between organizations, which something has a little bit of risk thrown in there as well. So we are looking at other mechanisms to do so, including providing community organizers with the ability to go into a calendar on their own and put their dates in. We have to look at a technological solution there, because what we don't want is people to have read and write access to the calendar for other people's events, for going in and putting your event in and erasing the other event that conflicts. I'm being facetious, but you understand where I'm coming from. So coordination itself becomes a bit of a challenge. So we are looking at a way to automate it to an extent to alleviate the need for a person in the administration to become effectively responsible for coordinating appropriate dates between organizations. That's been pointed out to me. That calendar would get quite crowded quite quickly. We'd also have to determine which organizations would have access to that calendar. Right now, we suspect we have at least 5 or 6 organizations that could readily, just from my quick view of the community, could readily balloon up to a dozen or more organizations that would want access to the calendar. It becomes an issue of who gets to use that calendar and who doesn't. So we are looking at it, but it's got some complexities we have to go through.
Thank you, Mr. Bonner. Councilor Associate?
Yeah, my recollection is we used to have something like that. Madame Guittard, correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember putting in like Terry Fox on a kind of calendar
When we had a partnership with Recon.
Okay, was that
That's what it was.
It was no messy.
D'autres questions? Sur l'administration, sont au courant du problème, ils sont en train de faire des investigations. Okay, thank you very much. Item 18B, Councilor Associate for paving on Lux.
Yeah, I was just about, we received a number of letters of concern and also photos, and I know we had received some extra funding for roads, and what I saw was that the other end of Louts was scheduled before near Hay, and I'm just wondering if that could be reversed, because the other part of the road is so much worse than down near Fairport. And that was scheduled to be on, because I know just for the 10-year plan, and I don't believe it's in there, but I don't see how that road can stay in the state it's in, just even for safety for kids on their bikes. I mean, it's like a landmine. And, the residents are jokingly calling it inverted speed bumps, but, it's just, I think it really needs to be looked at.
So just for clarification, when you talk about the paving, it's not on the books to be paid this year, correct? It's in that section of Louts, I think, is the year next year or the year after. No, I'm talking about the one you said from
Fair.
Fair is next year, I believe, if I remember well.
Mr. Mayor, we need to confirm that. I think so by memory, but we need to confirm.
So that would be this council can't take that position right now. That will be during budget discussions when we discuss the roads. But Mr. Bourgon?
I was going to add that's already on the part of our public request already.
Yes, I knew
Because
that
those requests
they were
was made
inclined to come
to
in
staff
December.
about a month ago.
Yeah, so we passed that information on to the commission.
Just as long as it's on the radar. So.
Yep, for sure, definitely is. With that, that's it for item 18. Item 19, qui est consultation publique, audience, il n'y a pas. Item 20, announcements. Any announcements from members of council? Councilor Associate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to give an update on the Terry Fox run that happened yesterday. So I do want to thank Barlaw for keeping our residents safe, and our fire departments. Chief Armstrong, thank you very much for helping them cross safely again, year after year, and also our paramedics that were out there as well. So I just wanted to let you know there's been a change even since yesterday. So as of today, we're up to 17,200 for the event, which was wonderful. And so I thank everybody who came out and supported the event, and our community sponsors. I listed them all yesterday, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilor Stolsky, and thank you to yourself and Donna and your team as well for doing this year after year. I think it's a wonderful event, and I'm glad that we take ownership of it and make it a success every year. So merci beaucoup. Avec ça, any other announcements? No, we will go to 21 session avec Claude Nappa, item 22, confirming bylaw, that bylaw 2022-102, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council or corporation in the township of Russell at its regular council meeting held on September 19, 2022. Be ready first, second, and third time and passed. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councilor Janoski, seconded by Councilor Lorraine. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. The next regular public meeting of council will be held on Monday, October 3rd, 2022. And we are adjourned at 6:35 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Merci beaucoup. Bonne soirée.